Greetings and salutations, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, first and foremost, welcome to Stories Written by a Current Prisoner with your favorite journalist, Tony. We have one hell of a banger today, something a little different I thought you guys would enjoy. We're going to go ahead and get straight to it. Man, first and foremost, my friend, I just want to go ahead and say thank you. I know the people out there are probably thinking we are crazy for wearing these masks, but we wear these masks just because we wish not to put ourselves out there. I know perhaps someone would be like, man, these guys look ridiculous. And I know we do in these masks, but we do it just in order to protect ourselves and our families. With that being said, my friend, I just want to go ahead and say thank you, man. Thank you for doing what you do. Thank you for sharing your stories and your experiences. And I hope that opens up a lot of eyes and a lot of ears out there, man, for the people out there who are thinking about participating in this lifestyle, man. It ain't worth it, man. So thank you, man.
Muy buenas tardes a todos, and as always, just thank you everyone for you guys' prayers and for all those words you guys expressed towards me.
For sure, man. And, there's going to be a GoFundMe that's going to be linked right there in the description and in the comment section. My friend, I know, unfortunately, you're going through some things. It's very severe. For the people out there, can you enlighten them and let them know, man, just for the people who don't know, can you let them know, man, what's going on with you, man?
Well, the thing is, right now I'm going through, when I was 22, I went through cancer, and in December, I suffered from two brain attacks, which it left me, semi-paralyzed on my left side, and then I started treating that, and then I had a heart attack and a thrombosis in my lung, and they just couldn't pinpoint what it was, and it's Mexico, so they turned out that my lymphoma Hodgkin's disease came back, and what happens with that is, I guess the second time it comes back around, it's kind of tricky when it comes to finding it, because it starts attacking different organs, which what happened in my case. And it attacked my head, it attacked my heart, my lungs, and just recently, yesterday, well, you know about this, Tony, I went out there and they did a liver biopsy because they think it spread to my liver, so I'm really, going through it like I stated before, the doctors say that maybe till March, but I'm trying, I ain't that type that it's going to curl up, bend up, and let life hit them, so I'm trying, it's just a little struggle. And this GoFundMe came from my niece because they're saying, that I could extend my life a little longer if I do a heart surgery and a head surgery. And so that's what it basically is. I need 3 surgeries, to help me. Because as is right now, I only have 20% oxygen hitting my head, and I got 3 of my arteries in my heart not working right, and I got a leak on another one. It's like, but I'm just trying, So it was my niece's idea to do this. It is why I'm putting it out there right now, because I've seen a lot of comments that were putting out there to, they wanted to help out, and it's just a way if you can, then I would highly appreciate it. If not, then, my message ain't meant on what you could do for me. It's what I could do for everyone,
100%, man. And like I said, the link will be right there in the comment and in the description. All right, my friend. So we're gonna go ahead and take things back to the very beginning, man. I know you've been elaborating and enlightening us on the betrayals, man. On what can happen to you, man, when you involve yourself in this type of activity. But we're gonna go ahead and take things back, man. Were you born in Northern California, or what brought you there, and what was your upbringing like?
Okay. No, I was born in Mexico, but when I was 2, my mom left. She left to look for a better future out that way, and I stayed behind with my grandparents. When I was 4, I ended up going to California, so I was out there since I was 4. But, my whole family's a citizen, and that included myself. When I turned citizen when I was 16, so it just, me being a dummy, I ended up in the feds under a RICO case, and I ended up having to renounce to my citizenship to get out and basically booted. That's how I ended up in Mexico, because I was running, to be sincere.
You know, like the Goodfellas movie, man. As far back as I can remember, I always wanted to be a gangster. I know people growing up in California, at least at one point in time, man, they wanted to be involved in this lifestyle. They perhaps they didn't know how deep it gets, but you know they wanted to dress a certain way. They wanted to talk a certain way, just because it was just a culture at one point in time, man. Who did you meet? Who did you meet that planted this seed in your head, man, of being a gang member?
Well, Tony, nobody planted the seed. I grew up in a neighborhood of nothing but norteños. I'm just keeping it honest. I went to kindergarten, I went to preschool with norteños. I grew up with norteños. But see, what had happened was, I could get into it, right?
Absolutely. Please take your time and
Okay,
elaborate.
okay. See, when I was 10 years old, there's I had a cousin that came from LA because I had my aunt living with us in the guest house in the back, and basically they didn't like him. I never wanted to be a game banger. My goal was, to get out the ghetto, to get out of the gutter. Because we grew up poor, even though we were in the States, better than in Mexico, but poor. So I wanted to do sports, man. I got into sports, and that was my thing. I wanted to either do sports or join the Marine. Those were my out goals for life. I wanted to do something like that. So, but what happened is one night is just they were after him. They were after my cousin, and one day his girlfriend in town just called me and told me like, hey, this fool's drunk. I send him in a taxi. So, he told me wait for him in the porch. So I did. I waited for the taxi to pull up, and we had a long drive, and when he got off, started walking, about 6, 7 fools, they got on him, and they got on him, and at this time I was taking wrestling, as a kid, and what happened? I got off the porch and I started running. I'm a little kid, but I ran, and a fool that was on him, I tackled him, boom, and I just got on top of him on the chest, and I started, bing, 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 and next thing you know, someone just cracked the bottle. If you ever see my face, you could actually see all the scars all over him, where the bottle cracked, everything, all over here, and I didn't know nothing else after that, man. I was a little kid trying to stand up, and when I came to, I tried to crawl to him, and he was done, man. They stabbed him like maybe 36 times and shot him like 40 years. It was one of their two, man. But it was just, that was the turning point, where I just started. At first, it wasn't about game banging. It was just about, we were raza. We weren't with all those Native Americans in town, and we weren't the Asians, and started hoop banging on them, man. I knew where they all lived, so it just started like that. Then we started my neighborhood. I'm from the first generation of my neighborhood, so, and it just kicked off from there, because my city is just a little different, We never had a hood from LA. We never had nobody from LA start. We started my neighborhood, and we just went against them vatos, that were really mostly Native Americans, man. They didn't like us for being Mexicans.
Do you mind elaborating on exactly how this neighborhood started?
Well, what happened is we all started kicking back and on the block, because after that, then I started fighting every day, and then we moved out. We moved into these projects on the other side of town, and there was a lot more raza, more Mexicans, and we just started hanging out, and it was weird because it was like some projects, and it was just a dividing fence in the middle. And where this fence was, on the other side of the fence, it was Crips and Norteños. So we used to just cross the fence or go down to the park, because this project led to a park and then projects, and we just boogied. We just started going at it with them, and then next, we just started calling my neighborhood. We started throwing our neighborhood, and just basically started repping Sur 13, and that's why I stayed in my videos. I never wanted to be anything else but a sureño, but I knew what entailed me being a sureño inside, so I did what I had to. But that's how my neighborhood got started. It was in '88 when we started my neighborhood.
So wow, there was a southern sureño presence in norteño cities, even way back in the late '80s.
Oh yeah, my neighborhood started on these projects in '88. Then in '89 we started a different clique. Then '90, and at one point my neighborhood was real deep. We had about 6 different cliques around town. It was the only Sureño neighborhood in town. Then from us, it just spinned off to another neighborhood and another one. There's about 4 of them now in town, but they all came out from my neighborhood.
When did things start to get a little serious for you? When was the first murder on that side, and when was the first murder on your side? And how do you remember them?
But I remember the first big deals that happened was like in '91. '91, they killed 2 of my homeboys back to back. Like I said, it was just the fans dividing us. We ended up taking over those projects anyways, but it just happened. They shot one of my homeboys on the main street, and then the next day they leaned from a fan and they shot another one, and then we went back
to back.
Yeah, back to back in the 2 week period. Then that's when we started hey, they dared to come in our neighborhood, gonna look for them, and we started going, and we clipped one of theirs, and it just went back and forth. But I gotta say, it had to be like '91, '92, around that era, when things got really hectic.
Do you remember how that impacted your family? And honestly, were you scared? Were you second guessing? Gangbanging.
Well, look, I got lost. I could sincerely say scared, not to sound anything, but I never been scared of anything. Of course, when you're about to do something, you go through the emotions, where you get nervous and this, but I think that's one of my biggest mistakes, when I dislike something, I lose sight of the things in between. That has been one of my biggest downfalls, and it just, I started going to juvenile hall, and man, I went to the Arizona's boys camp when I was 11, for 6 months, and then from then on it was a week out, 2 weeks, and it just back and forth.
Was there ever any other cliques that were established, and was there ever any south on south funk? And if so, why?
Well, there was the first other clique that started was in 95. And after a while, yeah, we started having funk with each other, and we actually went at it hard with each other for a while, because a lot of them guys that started that clique, they tried to get into my neighborhood, but we weren't allowing no more, so it was basically, they started that other neighborhood, and we just started funking. The one thing we always had in my town, though, was we didn't use weapons against each other. We always met up on a park, and there was 5 of us, 5 of them. We boogied, we bucked down and handled ours, and that was it.
When did you notice that a mob presence was starting to be established there?
The first time we heard about the mob, after a while we knew who they were. We started going to YA, and we knew who they were. But in my town, there wasn't we were never about that, man. To be sincere, it was always, carnalismo with us. The first time we heard it was from the vato, like I said in my story, Güero from Sanford. He brought it in, and but we weren't having none of it. It was like, okay, whatever, go handle your business somewhere else. It wasn't really serious. I could sincerely say that the mob in my town, it was my fault, man. To be sincere, I brought it in. I started plugging people up. I started helping them, you know, start spreading their spider web up into my town, and it is what it is now, But I could sincerely say that was my fault. But that didn't happen till, man, till 2000, 2001. Before that, it was just about neighborhood, man, in my town. I mean, you go up to state, you do your time as you're supposed to, as a camponero, and you come back, and it's about the neighborhood.
Did you ever have a conversation with your mom or your parents, and they're like telling you, like, "Hey, man, like you're gonna die, like te vas a morir, like the lifestyle that you're living, you're on the verge of, you might die."
Man, so many times, man. It was just a hard head. But so many times, I mean, like I told you before, I got shot 4 different times when I was on the streets. I've been put in coma, ran over, stabbed. So many times, I remember a few days before I caught my last term, my big term, the life sentences, they actually, I was outside, and my carnal, rest in peace, he actually sat with me and he told me, "Look, fool, you're an idiot. You're gonna do this, is gonna happen, and then this, and that, and you're gonna get busted." And it happened to the dot, man. That's why, when there's a family member giving you advice because he's seeing things from the outside, man, just pay attention to them, because it'll happen. It'll happen. They say it because they love you.
Can you actually take me there to when you actually heard the news, when you actually, how did it impact your family? What were they talking about? Were there did you see that some people were scared, that some people were frightened, that some people wanted revenge? Would you be able to go deeper into that, broski?
Well, when that happened, it was mostly anger. We had a lot of anger because, like I mentioned to you, there weren't too many Mexican families in town. To be sincere, it was mostly Indians. So we were mostly anger, but yeah, there was a lot of people, that decided to correct themselves when that happened, because they thought it was serious. But you know, there's a lot of knuckleheads too that we decided to pick it up, and take it to them. And that should have been an eye opener, when things like that happen. Is because it's life telling you, calm down and get on the right track, man. Because you're lucky this time, but you never know. But yeah, it was mostly anger.
Was there ever any attempts on your life?
Oh, yeah. Right before I got busted, it was ridiculous. They were really after me. Like, I mean, they went to my mom's house. They tagged my name on the walls, and they were really after me. Because they really hated me, because I was the one that I knew where all them lived. I grew up with them. I grew up in their neighborhood, so it was like I knew all the alleys, I knew all the shortcuts. So I was always up in their neighborhood, punking them in their own neighborhood, and they were really out to get me. Like I tell you, they got me 4 times. They shot me 4 times.
4 different times?
4 different times and 4 different occasions, man. And it was to the grace of a higher power. I'm still here. I mean, look at all the stuff I've gone through, and it hasn't been my time yet. I know I say that, knocking on wood, because I know I'm close, but I'm thankful for that little extra I've been living. But yeah, I've been stabbed. I remember one time I was walking down towards my mom's home, and they came with bats, and they went to town on me. I turned around and they hit me with something. I don't know. Till this day, I don't know what they hit me with, and they broke my jaw. And I I ended up in the hospital for a couple weeks. There's been a few times, my boy, that they got at me, but for some reason I'm still here, I'm still here, and I'm trying to be a better man. I know maybe a lot of people out there see it like it's too late, you done your. I seen a lot of comments where they stay, you made your bay lie on it, and like I state, I'm okay with whatever I have coming, I'm at peace with it. But yeah, there's been a lot of times, my boy, I was hated in town. I was known as the traitor in town. Cause like I tell you, I went to kindergarten with them. I used to be at their house and everything. Just that night they took out my cousin. It just, I did a complete 180, and I want nothing to do with them no more.
I completely understand. I completely understand, man. Were you completely outnumbered? Like,
Oh,
were you outnumbered?
oh hell yeah, hell yeah. There was maybe for every one of us there was about 20, 30 of them. We were the only neighborhood at first, and there was 4 or 5 different neighborhoods from them. Big neighborhoods too. So we were always outnumbered. Everywhere we went, we were catching them. We were getting stomped out. To be sincere,
How many casualties are behind these wars back then? If you were to give it a quick estimation.
man. Well, I could sincerely say like 95, 96, 97. It just happened back to back, man. They took out one, two, three, about 5 of my homeboys, and we took out like 5, 6 of them too. So it was just back to back, man. And when we were in town, we were hated by everyone. Not only Norteños, but we were hated by Crips, Bloods. There was even white boys cliques, and they hated us Asians. So we were against everybody. To be sincere.
You said that at one point in time there was a back-to-back murder. That one homeboy got killed one day and the next homeboy got killed the next day. Man, how did that make you feel, bro? Like mentally, like were you like, damn? Were you scared? Were you thinking that perhaps you were next?
Not. I'm gonna be sincere with you. I always had it in mind. I was gonna go. It was just a matter of time. Cause before they killed my first homeboy, had gotten shot already one time. So you know, so I was always in my head. It's gonna be close. It's gonna be time to go. But before that, I'm gonna hoop bang. I'm gonna do what I can. But like I said, fear, it's always there. You can't shake fear. And anything you do in life, I think fear comes with. But it's just I always pull from it and kept going. But that was always in my mind. That it's time to go. It was gonna be my time soon. That's how I got into that tornado of the BS more. That type of life. Because I always felt today's my last day. Today's my last day. So I went out and did worse things than if I was more conscious about life. I used more dope because when I was on the streets, man, it was about doing anything and everything when I was out there. Cause today is my last day. I don't know if you get what I'm trying to say, but it was just like that's a big mistake that when we're young we think we're gonna die tomorrow, so F it, let's go balls out today, and that's how you get caught up in worse things.
What was it like at school? Do you remember how it was like at school and then back in where's the game banging back in them days?
Oh yeah, I remember when I hit 7th grade, it was whew, we didn't even last a week before we got into it, and they expelled us from all the counties junior highs. And then from there I stopped going to school. To be sincere, I never tried to even go back to school.
Wow. Do you remember how that thing played out in seventh grade? What happened?
Well, I remember there was about four of us. There was four or five of us in school, and I remember that day I was over there by the lunch area with some girls, and I remember they just came and told me like, hey, these two fools they're over there slinging them with them guys. There's about 20 of them. So I ran over there and I just ran over there to get binked on, to be sincere. They put them on us bad, but I remember when the cops were taking us, because weapons got pulled out, rags and all that, and the cops were taking us, and I got loose and I hit a fool, and then the vice principal tried to grab me and I hit her, and then that was it. They kicked me out from all the county schools, junior highs. But like I tell you, it was everywhere. When I was young, man, as a kid, anywhere we went, we were catching the blues. There was just too many of them.
What was your parents' reaction when you got kicked out of school?
I come from a single mother. I never knew my father, so my mom, she was raised in Mexico. So I can't. Her thing was, we did something, we're getting our butt whooped. Period. But like to try to correct or for her to, my mother, my grandparents kicked my mom out when she was 14 because she got pregnant, man. So she's been on her own since 14. So I grew up with a mother that don't show emotion. Her thing is I work, give you guys everything. But so basically, whenever I got in trouble, it was beat my butt and that was it. There was never no conversation to correct myself, or anything. And I can't blame her. I mean, it's just how she was raised.
Did you ever go through any traumatic experiences as a young child or as a young adult that changed you mentally, emotionally, or just as a person as a whole?
No, I go back to this one time, man. That completely changed me. I did a complete 180. I had goals for myself, and even though I still kept in sports and I boxed and did wrestling and all this, it wasn't never the same.
If you don't mind me asking, do you know anything about your father? Like, do you know where he is, or have you ever heard of him, or do you just wish not to communicate with him?
I know who he is now since I've been here. I know who he is now, man. But I actually went and met him one time. I kept up on him, and he has like a little food area here. So I went out there, I sat down, and I asked for food. And when he came, I told him, hey, you're so-and-so. And he said, yeah. And I stand up, put my hand on, I told him, I'm so-and-so and so-and-so. And that was it. Mucho gusto, and that was it. That was all our thing. And I told him, I just wanted to come see you face to face, and that was it. That's all our conversation.
He didn't try to, like, go ahead, I'm sorry.
No, I know. I didn't try to pursue a friendship or anything. Not because I have anger against a man, Because at the end of the day, I didn't know what happened between him and my mother. Because my mom, like I told you, she don't show emotion. But I just went. I told him straight out, I wanted to come meet you face to face, and that's it. I felt that if I tried to do a friendship with her or anything, it was just like disrespecting what my mother did for us.
Can I ask you some more personal questions, man, if you don't mind?
Yes, of course.
When was the first time that you found out you had cancer, and what was your reaction, man? What did they tell you? What did the doctor tell you? How did you find out?
Okay, I was in the cell in Cork right now. Like I stated before, I was already validated. I was on B yard and 3 right. And I was a workout fiend. I used to love working out, man. But whenever I finish working out, I put the cells in concrete and the bunks are side by side and they're concrete. So on the one on this side that hits the door, I used to finish off with putting my feet on the bunk and just doing pumps, not push-ups, but just pumps, just nipple shot, just boom, 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 and every 10th pull. And when I used to do 200 in a rep, and when I hit my last set, when I did this, I felt this part right here, like if they grabbed it and ripped it, and as a sureño, I couldn't go to the hospital, man, because it's considered weakness, or like if you go out to tell, to throw rat. I know it sounds dumb, but that's how we're instructed to be, So I waited, man. I waited 2 weeks and I didn't go. And it just, after a while, I just saw this. I started getting lumps and I couldn't move my back. And so, I got out the pili, Artie, and I told him, hey, look, this is happening, this. And he told me, go ahead, fool, go. So I went out there and they pulled a biopsy and I stayed in the hospital while they ran it, and it came back that, yeah, it was magma, it was cancer. And to be sincere, I didn't have time to actually analyze the situation at first. It was like, they took me back to my cell, and I'm going to be sincere, I owe me fighting cancer the first time to a CO.
What do you mean by that?
It was, you see, when they took me back to my cell, because they pulled me out to see the cancer specialist when the results came back. And like I said, I was a lifer at this time, and I had I was validated. I was in the shoe at this time. There was no talks about us getting ever out the shoe, Like I stated, my story is me, going backwards and telling, and that just wasn't in me, So I figured I was going to die in the shoe. So I don't want to sound like a coward, but the thing that went through my head was, this is my ticket, man. I'm out. This is my goal, to punch out without having to go through a life of suffering back there. You know what I mean? So when the doctor pulled me out, he told me like, hey, it came back that it's this, and that, and the reason why you started is because it started spreading down your chest, because I was in stage 3 at this time. Because when I ripped it, I sat down and waited, And he told me, do you believe in God? And you best start asking him, and we're going to try, And I told him, this is just me being sincere, I told him, nah, I don't believe in God. And when he told me, well, I start asking for forgiveness, and I straight up told him, you know what, doctor? F you and F your God. And I told the COs, take me back to my cell. And he told me, you have to, because it's going to kill you. And I told him, take me back to my cell, and they wouldn't take me. So, when you're in the shoe, you got 2 COs escorting you, you're handcuffed. So when they wouldn't listen to me, I stand up. When I stand up, they automatically have to get me out of there, So they were taking me back to my cell, and there was this CEO named Garcia, and she started telling me like, hey, guy, start asking God, fight it. Why ain't you gonna fight it, And I straight up told her, look, I told her, I don't mean to sound rude, but look around you, I'm a lifer. Would you keep fighting to live like this? Call me a coward, you just might stay the margin at this time. And she just told me, man, I told him I had not had a visit at this time for 8 years, man. Nothing. So I was like, nah, I'm cool, You might call me a coward, but this is my way out. I might suffer a little bit, but I'll be out that door soon. And this lady, every time she brought my chow ho, she left the Bible. And we ate, and when I gave her my trays back, I put the Bible back. But at the end of the day, I don't know how she did it, but she got my son and my mom up there, man, to visit me. And my mom, she's just one of those ladies, pinche pendejo, why you did it, that, why aren't you gonna fight? And that day, I gave my mom my word, that I was gonna try. At least I was gonna try. So I went back and I just told her, damn, gracias. And she goes, nah, don't thank me, man, and then from there I went out. And I told the doctor, let's do it. And they went out, they put the portal path, and I started chemo that same week. But it was behind this lady, my plans was to take the coward way out, man, to be sincere.
So what ended up happening? You ended up beating it, and
Yeah, I went through to aggressive chemotherapy, and then I had a good doctor, man, like, look, this is one thing that I want to put out there for everyone to hear, I believe in a higher power now, man, and now I can sit down and really have the time to analyze how much he worked in my life, throughout my whole life, throughout every situation I was in. Because, like I'm telling you, he manifests himself in my life through this lady. He also manifests himself with, I had the best chemotherapist doctor treat me at this time in Corcoran, which was Dr. Chan. He was ranked #1 in California, man. And by the time that he gave me the last treatment, my blood test, the CAT scans, everything came out negative. Like I didn't have cancer no more. But he still sent me to the Mercy Hospital in Bakersfield, and I did radiation treatments all the way till I couldn't take them no more, But it was just I got out and I came here and I kept doing my stupid shit, man. Excuse my language, everyone. But I kept, and, I cost it all back, I guess you could say that, my dumbness cost, because it's real easy to forget, all the good that happens in your life when you're in that life,
I don't mean to sound foul. I don't mean to sound negative, but it kind of blew me away what you just said, that you as an inmate were able to get medical service by basically the #1 doctor in the state of California. And it's like, wow, you would think that his and not, like I said, I mean to sound rude, but you would think that his priorities and his obligations would be towards someone else. I mean, with no disrespect, but like I said, man, you're a convicted murderer at that point in time.
Yeah, I mean, like I tell you, I don't know how to tell you why he was there or anything. Now I see it as, my higher power was manifesting himself. Like, look, fool, I'm here. I'm here trying to stick my hand out there, reach. And it was just me being dumb, blind, to be sincere, into something that it's just, it ain't there, It just ain't there. I mean, if there was some type of I don't know what you want to call it, cause, raza, carnalismo, I would say, but it just ain't there, man. I spent a lot of years up there wiggling with them, I did a lot of dirt on the streets, man. I got out, and the time I was out, I hit 7 different penitentiaries in Mexico, because of them, doing things with them. So it was just, it ain't there, man. At the end of the day, I got backstabbed. They did me wrong with a family member, and then all of a sudden it was just like, nah, it wasn't me, he, when I had all the proof, man. It was just BS. It's all BS, you get used and abused, that's it.